Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is EQ and thank you all so much for being here. Today's video is going to be a bit different from what I usually cover. I know I usually go over a lot of different announcements or news articles, and even though I do have a bit of an update for you guys today, today's video is going to be 5 different tips that definitely help me out and will hopefully be useful to you once you actually start playing Scavengers come early access on April 28th. As a quick reminder, make sure that you guys follow me over on Twitch, where I'm streaming every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 8:30 p.m. Eastern onwards. And even though I play a variety of games, you best believe that I'm going to be playing Scavengers 24/7 the second it releases. So let's start off with the most updated information that the team over at Midwinter has provided us regarding the registration times and when registration for early access will close. As we covered on my last video, if you did not take part of the beta or any of the playtests, then you're going to have to sign up on the website, that's playscavengers.com, in order to gain access to the game come April 28th. Now, as of the time of this recording, which is on April the 23rd, we have now received further clarification from the team over at Midwinter, who have let us know that you have up until April the 26th, 8 a.m. Pacific time, in order for you to sign up and get guaranteed a key for the early access release. Make sure that you sign up before then, or else you're gonna have to find your key some other way, primarily by watching Twitch streams that have Twitch drops, which will have a chance of giving you a key for just watching them. Additionally, if you've already signed up, make sure that you check your email. Today, they actually sent out a whole bunch of keys to everybody, and a lot of people have already received theirs, and you may have one already waiting for you as well. And not just one for you, but also one for a friend, because they were so nice. They gave out additional keys for you to give to a friend, so that way you're not alone on the 28th. Now that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes of the video, which are the 5 different tips that will hopefully be useful to you once you start playing Scavengers. Now, tips number 1 and number 2 actually kind of go hand in hand, but let's start off with the first one: split up to cover more ground. At the beginning of the match, do not be afraid to split off from your team. Everybody should go on their separate ways and start gathering as many resources as possible. As soon as the match starts, take a quick look at your map and look at what objectives are around you. One team member can run to a nearby scrap camp where they can gather scrap for crafting of your weapons and armor, while another player goes to a nearby outlander camp that is full of healing supplies and things to keep you warm. The last player can actually go to a data point objective and start it, so that way once the other 2 players are finished gathering their materials, they can all converge and help out clearing that outpost. This is a very useful tip for earlier moments in the match, because if you stay too long separated from your team, you run the risk of running into a separate team, and if you're by yourself, then you already know how that's gonna go. While you guys are on your way to doing all your own little objectives, make sure that you're also foraging for berries, killing deer for food, as well as maybe, if you feel brave, kill a bear. But just make sure that you do it once you're actually well equipped. Tip number 2, like I mentioned, goes hand in hand with tip number 1, that being prioritize crafting armor and signature weapons. Make sure that you prioritize that first, because that's what's going to give you the advantage over all the other teams and make it a lot easier for you and your team to go ahead and gather data points as quickly as possible. So how do we get this accomplished? Well, there's a couple of things that you can do in order to make sure that you're prepared for when it comes time to craft your weapons and your armor. The first thing is going to as many scrap camps as possible. These small camps are located all over the map. They're going to have a cache that's going to be filled with scrap that you're going to have to take some time to unlock. You maybe have to kill a couple enemies here and there, but that's pretty much it. Pretty simple. You gather that scrap, you go on to the next one. Second, kill as many enemy AI as possible. You need to do this in order to start getting experience, which is a very important part of the crafting system in Scavengers. Lastly, make sure that you try to avoid as much PvP as possible in the beginning parts of the match. If you run into a team, it's okay. You guys can coordinate and try to attack them and kill them. But keep in mind that if you do not get your shield and your weapons as soon as possible, then another team that has been making sure that they stay on top of these objectives will roll up on you, and they will be fully geared, and you're going to be very under-leveled and under-geared. So make sure that you do not focus solely on PvP. Kill as many AI as you possibly can, at a regular pace. Don't get stuck in one area just trying to clear everything. Just make sure that you kill enough things that you're satisfied with your leveling. Tip number 3, make sure that you coordinate with your team and you guys build a cohesive team comp. Even though there's a small amount of explorers right now at launch, and even though this is not your typical hero shooter, the abilities that the explorers possess can have some amazing synergy if used properly. So take your time to try out a couple of the different explorers and see which one better fits your playstyle. Not only that, but make sure that your character's playstyle and abilities kind of fill in the gaps wherever your teammates' characters may be lacking. For example, your teammate may be using a J and they want to be up close and personal with the enemy. So where do you come in? You're maybe a Cruz. Cruz can use his ability, boost J into that front line, make sure that he gets in position for him to activate his overshield and just go straight at them with that Maverick Halberd. Now, because Cruz and Jay are shorter range characters, maybe the third person can pick somebody like a Halden. Now, Halden is great because he covers that mid to long range engagement, but if Cruz or Jay do go down in the front lines, the Halden can now push up, activate his ability, and immediately get them back up in the fight, and therefore giving you the advantage for you to win that team fight. Obviously, that's just a small example of what a viable combination of 2 explorers looks like, but you could do something like a Callie and a Tariq. Tariq keeping the enemies at bay with that sniper, while Callie moves into position while she's cloaked and making sure that she gets that flank, and hopefully that would work out in their favor as well. Tip number 4, be aware of high value areas as well as roaming bosses. As I've previously covered, there's a lot of points of interest that you can explore in the map, mainly Outlander camps, where you're going to go in, clear the camps, and get the data points. But what's pretty cool is that there are some camps that will award you higher loot than others. Now keep in mind that because they are awarding you higher loot, this means that they're going to be a bit more difficult. Some of them may actually have warlords, which are these huge Outlanders that come at you. You've seen them on the trailers. They're very tough to kill. And if you do get close to them, just be prepared for a world of hurt, because that hammer will come at you hard. Speaking of warlords, throughout the match, there may be some that actually spawn in the map as mini bosses that you can go and kill and get more data points off of them, as well as the Sluka, which is a gigantic scourge. This thing will charge at you. It is extremely dangerous. It'll spit on you and start spawning more scourge to come around you and try to surround you and kill you. So just be very careful with them. But if you're brave enough and you're well geared, then you can definitely take this thing on and gather all the data points that you're going to get from killing him. Keep in mind that there may be other world events or areas that you might want to explore that will yield you a ton, and I mean a ton, of data points, and can definitely tilt the balance of that match in your favor. The last and final tip, and probably one of the most important ones, is use the data uplinks. What are the data uplinks, you ask? They are these antennas or towers that you can find throughout the map, where you can actually go and bank whatever data points you currently have and securely store them without having the fear of ever losing them if you die. This is huge, because if you can mitigate the amount of data points that you lose in a team fight, where maybe one of your teammates is still able to escape and allow for the other 2 down teammates to be able to get back up, and that's awesome, because now you've respawned, the amount of points that you've lost was very minimal, and you're still in the race. You're still able to go back out there and try to win that match. Well, that is it, guys. Those are my 5 useful tips that will hopefully better prepare you to tackle anything that comes at you on Scavengers. If you guys have any more questions or you want more videos like this, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to get you guys as much content as I possibly can. Remember that this Tuesday, we're not only celebrating the Scavengers launch, it is also my 1-year anniversary on Twitch. So I hope to see you all there, where we're going to be doing all sorts of giveaways. We're going to be having a ton of fun with the community. And obviously, we're going to be discussing Scavengers more in depth, as well as waiting for it to actually launch and get some games in. If you found these tips helpful, that like and subscribe always help the channel. And as always, my name is EQ. I will catch you guys in the Outlands.